Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Homage to the Blessed One, the Worthy One, the Supremely Enlightened One. Homage to the Blessed One, the Worthy One, the Supremely Enlightened One. Homage to the Blessed One, the Worthy One, the Supremely Enlightened One. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Okay, let's start our Dhamma discussion. Let's remind about our previous discussion that we had. What was the topic that we talked last week, friends?
Sense desire?
Yes, we talked about it. Oh, okay, now I remember it. The story about the farmer.
Yeah.
Yes, okay. We talked that we need to let go the craving to the sense pleasures in order to free from the distractions. And we were also studying about these three aspects about the knowledge. Do you remember that also, friends? Because we will see the benefits of understanding that over the months and the weeks that we talked about that during today's topic, during today's discussion.
Gratification, drawbacks, and escape.
Yes, gratification, drawback, and escape. We studied that one. And if we unravel that, what is gratification means?
Understanding enjoyment.
Yes, yes, enjoyment of the
Sense
specific
pleasure.
thing. Let's say, for an example, the body. So we studied there is pleasure and joy, that is gratification. And after that, the second aspect was the drawback. And what was the drawback, friends?
The danger.
Yes, what
Impermanence.
exactly is that?
Impermanence.
Impermanence.
Can you explain? Yeah, impermanence. And the last one was the understanding the escape or the exit. And what was that? When you explain it?
Removing or abandoning.
Nara?
Giving up desire.
Craving.
Yes, giving up craving, giving up desire. Okay. I equals this according to the teachings that this is the saying things as they truly are. If someone were to tell you this is in Buddhism saying things as they truly are, that they speak about understanding, gratification, drawback, and the escape. Okay, this is important. It's like an equation. It is important to our discussions. That's why I shared that. We have come to the last meditation in the group of meditation about establishing mindfulness to the body. We started with breathing, and then we talked about postures, and after that we talked about full awareness, and then we moved into the foulness of the body meditation, and after that we studied about four elements meditation, and today we study the last meditation about the gradual decay of the body in the charnel ground in a cemetery. This would not be very enjoyable without meditative attainments, without meditative contemplative knowledge. This can make feel sometimes upset, but don't accept that, because it is not to be upset, because it is the true nature of the body. Okay. Now, how many meditations do you practice in your day-to-day life, friends? Now we talk many meditations.
I do about 3 generally a day.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's great. And my other friends, Tina,
I
do you
do, yeah, I do metta, loving kindness mostly.
Okay.
And then some breathing.
Okay, breathing meditation. Are there my friends who do posture meditation? Postures meditation. Is it difficult? Is it hard? It will be more and more easier after you study this last meditation. Now, let's see what the Buddha instructed, how Buddha taught that meditation. I'm going to share with you the Satipatthana Sutta, the discourse on establishing mindfulness, the 9 charnel ground contemplations. I won't go all the 9, but only we start the first one. Let's make some sense what is this meditation is about. Again, bhikkhus. Bhikkhus means monks, practitioners, as though he were to see a corpse thrown aside in a charnel ground, 1, 2, or 3 days dead, bloated, livid, and oozing matter. A bhikkhu compares the same body with it thus. Same body means one's own body. To a corpse. This body too is of the same nature. It will be like that. It is not exempt from that fate. In this way, he abides contemplating the body as a body. Body as a body means one observes the body just as it is, without judgments, without biases, without distractions, internally, externally, which means seeing one's own body's true nature and the body of another's true nature. And both internally and externally, which means that is equal understanding one develops with the meditation. And he abides independent. Those are the benefits of doing that meditation. One lives independent, which means without any attachment to one's life or to life of another or to any other things outside. Not clinging to anything in the world. With that understanding, because it won't make attachments, so one lives without any bond to the world. That too is how a bhikkhu abides contemplating the body as a body. Okay, that's the first meditation about the decaying of a dead body in the cemetery, charnel ground. So on it goes to the other meditations, which means the gradual decay of other stages of the body when it decays. Okay, now let's talk about this a little. Now, in the Buddha's time, it said that those days their lifestyle was little bit no, actually it is very different from today. It's more peaceful, more relaxed, more simple. Okay, farmers go to the field, children go to the school, traders go to sell goods, and soldiers and the kings, soldiers go to the wars, and the monks went to the charnel ground. Okay. Now the charnel ground means that is the place where people at those days discard the dead bodies. Even today, if you go to some places in India, some parts of India, rural areas, you would see this, that sometimes they throw the dead body. After wrapping up using a cloth, they just throw the dead body. In the Buddhist time also, they did so. So what they did was that they wrap up the body using a cloth and just throw it to the place, a land, abandoned land, and that is what is known as the charnel ground. It's a kind of a cemetery. Now the monks, what the monks do is that they go to see and observe the body. Why? Because they were instructed by the Buddha to see the true nature of the form. Another word in the Buddha's teachings for the body is the form. Form, which means material form, F-O-R-M, which means our body, our solid body, physical body. Because the Buddha taught to see the impermanence, so normally the Bhantes, the monks and the nuns, they go to see and observe how the body decays. Now, which part is the body's decaying? Is it enjoyment part or something different?
Different, of course.
Yes, that is the drawback. That's the impermanence, gradual changing of the body. So these practitioners go and observe how it changes. This is very difficult to understand and to realize that how one has such a confidence in their mind to go and see such a thing. How much they have mental strength to observe a decay of a body. But gradually they observe the body and they collect these marks in the decay of the body and they start to contemplate on that. They don't stay forever in that cemetery or charnel ground by seeing that. But what they do is that they collect this sign, this feature of this changing, and later go under a tree and start to reflect about that and start to do more and more contemplations about that. And in this meditation, this shows that it is how that they did, how that they practice that meditation. That is why it says specifically that there is a changing. I'll share with you again that it says special points here. If you observe clearly, you will see in these lines, as though he were to see a corpse thrown aside in a charnel ground. 1, 2, or 3 days dead. That's the one feature. Now the body was like the person was passed away, body was there. 1, 2, 3 days changed. Bloated, the second feature, and livid, and oozing matter. Those are the features. A bhikkhu compares the same body with it thus. This body too is the same nature. One thinks my body has the same nature that this dead body has, which means after I leave the body, it will decay like this. It will go after 2, 3 days and it will bloated. And Bhikkhu compares the same body with it thus. This body is of the same nature. It will be like that. It is not exempt from that fate. One thinks like that. What do you think? After thinking like that, does that brings sadness or happiness? When one merely look at that with the same ordinary perception that we carry, with the same enjoyment that we carry, it will only make us more and more pain and suffering if we look and try to observe that such a way. But instead, if we start with an approach of understanding the life, it is more liberating, more relaxing, it giving up many bonds and attachments. If we see it through, if we penetrate through our knowledge that there is no any other thing than liberating us as we see this body of changing of the body, because it has a deep happiness. Okay. I see now my friends' faces are like looks very sad. Now we'll pause that over here because I should share with you little by little, not all of a sudden, because it can confuse you, because we are studying something that we are not familiar with. Okay.
It helps reduce your sensual desire, I guess, as well, if you see the
Yes.
body as it really is.
Yes, that's the whole point, understanding about the body, to see the sense pleasures. Now, friends, let's talk this sutta, which connects with that one. Now, we learned about these three aspects: gratification, drawback, and escape. We feel sad because we still have craving. Okay, friends? That's why we feel sad, because we are attached to our body. We see enjoyment and we talk about the impermanence and the change, and still it brings us sadness because we have attachment to the enjoyment part of the body. Okay. Now, this understanding will connect with you more and more, and it will crystallize your understanding more after studying this part, where the Buddha say about the material form. Now, please write it down. You will need this later. The material form means our body. Okay, friends? Material form means our body. And next you can write down, material form is constituent of four great elements. Material form is constituent of four great elements, which means in our body there are four great elements. We studied that also. What are the four elements?
Earth, water,
Water, air,
Air and heat.
fire.
and
Yes. Okay. Now let's go to this talk, this Buddhist teaching. This is Mahadukkha Kanda Sutta. I only extracted this part, the material form. We are going to understand this. Now, please know that this was originally given to the monks. And when Buddha talked about teachings to the nuns, he talked in a different way. I'll show you that. Because here, as an analogy, Buddha took a girl, like a female person, and when he teach to the nuns, he take the male person, like the form. Okay. And Buddha say, and what bhikkhus is the gratification in the case of material form? Now Buddha say, now you are going to understand the gratification, the enjoyment of the material form. Again, we learned that is the body. Suppose there were a girl of the noble class, or the Brahmin class, or the householder stock, which means she is coming from a certain family, a class, this is just an analogy, in her 15th or 16th year, which means at the prime of the youth, very beautiful and very attractive. Neither too tall nor too short, neither too thin nor too fat, neither too dark nor too fair. Now Buddha said to the Bhantes. Now these are the beauty standards in the suttas. When a person is beautiful, Buddha said now that person is not too tall, not too short, too thin, too fat, not, and neither dark nor too fair. Now Buddha asks the monks, is her beauty and loveliness then at its height? What do you think? Is that person is said to be a beautiful person? In her young age, when it is 16 or 15, do you remember our time while we were in like 15 or 16? In those days that we were in the best age of our life, like the young life, and we were so much attracted to others. And now we feel that our body has so much power and so much attraction, and we looks beautiful and we decorate our body. Okay, now the Buddha say, as an example, Buddha say, now there is this girl. Now the Bhante said, yes, Venerable Sir. Now the pleasure and joy that arise in dependence on that beauty and loveliness are the gratification in the case of material form. Buddha say, in that age, when the body is in the young age, when it is very attractive, and that is the gratification in the case of material form. Buddha say, to understand the body, that when it is young and attractive and when it is decorated, and it is when it is in the best time of the life, that is the enjoyment. That's the gratification of the body. Sometimes people pass us and then look again. Oh, who is this person? While we were young. And when it is decorated and people talk about that beauty, people talk about that young age, and we too feel that, and we really like, we normally put at those days, we don't have this smartphone. We normally carry a mirror and to check our face. The comb and the mirror in a one pocket, and we always check, am I look beautiful? Is this attractive enough? Now Buddha say, not only there is gratification, and what because is the danger in the case of material form. Now we learned we cannot stay like that forever. Our body won't stay in that state forever, in that age forever. It won't have this permanence. What happens is gradually it's being changed. Now Buddha say, and what because is the danger in the case of material form? Later on one might see that same woman here at 80, 90 or 100 years, aged, as crooked as a roof bracket, doubled up, supported by a walking stick, tottering, frail, her youth gone, her teeth broken, grey-haired, scanty-haired, bald, wrinkled, with limbs all blotchy. What are these all the features? The changing, the impermanence. All these signs and all these qualities Buddha shows is the drawback, this impermanence nature of the material form, the body. Now, when Buddha says this, we don't need to attach to these parts. Now, we don't need to get a sadness or the anger or aversion or when we hear this, when we read this. Why? Because he is just showing about this as an observer. as a mindful person who sees that change without going to biases or without judging. So there is no judgment here, but here what he's showing is the truth that exists in the body. Normally we don't like to see like that changing, like gray haired or teeth broken. But what he show us is that true nature of the body. Now Buddha say, what do you think? Because has her former beauty and loveliness vanished and the danger become evident? Yes, Venerable Sir, because this is the danger in the case of material form. Now Buddha say, see that not only there is enjoyment in the material form, but now there is this danger, this drawback, that is this changing of the body. Next Buddha say, again one might see that same woman afflicted, suffering and gravely ill, lying fouled in her own urine and excrement, lifted up by some and set down by others. What do you think, bhikkhus? Has her former beauty and loveliness vanished and the danger become evident? Yes, Venerable Sir, because this too is a danger in the case of material form. Next, again one might see that same woman as a corpse thrown aside in a charnel ground, 1, 2, or 3 days dead, blotted, livid, and oozing matter. You see, this is the Satipatthana Sutta's meditation. What do you think, bhikkhus? Has her former beauty and loveliness vanished and the danger become evident? Yes, Venerable Sir, because this too is a danger in the case of material form, which means it is impossible to avoid that when it is happening to the body. When the body is stricken by old age and the death, it cannot be avoided. It is the true nature. If we correctly see that, if we truly understand this, we won't get any fear, any terror. Why? Because that is mindfulness. Mindfulness means that you see things as they truly are. Again, one might see that same woman as a corpse thrown aside in a charnel ground, being devoured by crows, hawks, vultures, dogs, jackals, or various kinds of worms. Because it is in the open area, it said that those days those beings are devouring. Again, it says a skeleton with flesh and blood held together with sinews. A fleshless skeleton smeared with blood held together with sinews. A skeleton without flesh and blood held together with sinews. Disconnected bones scattered in all directions. I will go through these later step by step. Now Buddha say, has her former beauty and loveliness vanished and the danger become evident? Yes, Venerable Sir, because this too is a danger in the case of material form. Okay, there were many drawbacks in the body, in the material form. There was an enjoyment when it was attracted to the others, but gradually when it was changing, so one faced to the danger, the drawback, and it was impermanence. What this showed is about the impermanent nature, the change in nature of the body, and the unsatisfactory nature of the body, and non-self nature of the body. So every one of us like to stop that and stay in one place, one stage, but we cannot. In that way, it is said that it is not self, that cannot be compelled. May this not happen to me. May this not happen to my loved ones. May this be like this or like that. We cannot control that. Now the third, Buddha say the last one, the escape. Now we truly love to escape from that suffering, that impermanence. How and what bhikkhus is the escape in the case of material form? It is the removal of desire and lust, the abandonment of desire and lust for material form. This is the escape in the case of material form. Now, why Buddha talked about these meditations are to eliminate and eradicate that craving, that desire and lust. The craving is being explained in this teaching as desire and lust, chandaraga. It is same craving. One let go that craving, so that is freedom. That's the escape. So one doesn't find an escape outside in a place, but one sees the escape through the same body by understanding the impermanence. And there was gratification when we were young and when we had beauty, when that it was about here, about a girl. But later, Buddha shows this is the impermanence, and then one let go the craving. So that is the seeing things as they truly are. Gratification, danger, and escape. Now that meditation is talking about the first part where the Buddha explains about this charnel ground after it is throwing out 1, 2, or 3 days dead, blotted, livid, and oozing matter. So when one sees more and more and thinks that my body has the same nature, that they unravel the truth inside that was hidden in the enjoyment. So one need to see that in order to let go the craving. Okay, friends, that is the whole point of this meditation. What are your thoughts?
Well, my thought, it's pretty gruesome as to how, and we have studied this before here in Asapuva. So I know I was shocked at the time, and I'm still shocked because this is more ancient. How that applies at our time,
Yes.
we do not have charnel grounds. We have cemeteries, or in my case, I will be dissolved in water. Things are different and not as gruesome as Buddha has demonstrated it. On the other hand, however,
Yes.
it does give us the wisdom
Yes.
that we are that nothing is constant.
Yes.
So
Now, still the Satipatthana Sutta is visible and we received that from that era. But the true nature of the body stays the same, regardless of the tradition of or the faith or the time. The true nature of the body stays the same. And this is like a treasure which shows us that look into this body and see this true nature. Now, in modern day, we don't see that. We don't observe that. But I see people have so deep attachment to the body.
yes,
And some go lost in their last moments. Even while they're living, they are confused and lost. There is impermanence, but it was hidden and is being hidden. But it was being shown by the Buddha to help us to break through into the true reality of the body, to detach. If we imagine this in our head, oh, I have my body, but the body has this nature. If by any chance, if it were to be discarded in a charnel ground, what would happen is that this thing, this nature, it will decay. Then that understanding helps us to easily let go.
I had some guests over last night for Thanksgiving dinner, and
Yes.
one of them is she's a very spiritual person. She's an artist from California,
Yes.
and I talked to her about what we were going to be studying tonight, and I actually took I had Analayo's book on the
Yes.
Satipatthana. So I
Yes.
went to that section, and I was explaining to her about impermanence, and she understood that because I talked to her brother as well about impermanence. So
Yes.
to me, I find it doesn't scare me. I kind of really see it, and I'm not going to go to a cemetery and look at dead bodies, but
Yes.
I can understand it, and I think it's very helpful because it gets rid of also like the concept of self, where once you really
Yes.
kind of delve into that. And one of the
Yes.
things I was reading was about the charnel grounds, that when monks went to the charnel grounds,
Yes.
occasionally a monk, if they were all men, it was okay. But if there was a woman in the charnel ground and the monk was there, it
Mhm.
may, even though the body was decaying, it aroused sensual lust or desire
Exactly.
to that
Yes.
particular monk. So
Yes.
he would have to just abandon that and go to a charnel ground where he only sees the men, because that could make it worse for him in some way. I don't know.
For a dead body, when it is decayed,
Hmm.
still if that brings us lust,
Yeah.
that's a problem. It should be able to control, but still there is this blind attachment to a decaying body.
Uh,
Well, let's talk this teaching. Just give me a few seconds,
Sure.
few minutes. There is one more sutta. It is called fearless. Then the Brahmin Janusoni went up to the Buddha and exchanged greetings with him. When the greetings and polite conversation were over, he sat down to one side and said to the Buddha, "Worthy Gautama, this is my doctrine and view. All those liable to death are frightened and terrified of death. Brahmin, some of those liable to death are frightened and terrified of death. Buddha say, but some of those liable to death are not frightened and terrified of death. Okay. Now Buddha say, who are those frightened of death? It is someone who isn't free of greed, desire, fondness, thirst, passion, and craving for sensual pleasures. When they fall seriously ill, they think, the sensual pleasures that I love so much will leave me, and I'll leave them. They sorrow and wail and lament, beating their breast and falling into confusion. Is a way that they showed up their sadness. This is someone who is frightened of death. Buddha say, because of the attachment to the sense pleasures, when one thinks that I'm going to leave them, they become so frightened. Now, furthermore, it is someone who isn't freed of greed, desire, fondness, thirst, passion, and craving for the body. When they fall seriously ill, they think, this body that I love so much will leave me, and I'll leave it. They sorrow and wail and lament, beating their breast and falling into confusion. This too is someone who is frightened of death. Now, why, according to this teaching, that there exists the fear for the death is because that one has an attachment to the body. And in the later of this teaching, Buddha say when one does not have that so-called greed, desire, fondness, thirst, passion, and craving for the body, that they don't fear their death. They will feel that they are liberating. They feel that it is not terrifying, is peaceful, Buddha say. Now, why this brings us sadness and fear and terror is because that we are beings who have greed, desire, fondness, thirst, passion, and craving for the body. When we go through the illness or old age, we feel, oh, I'm going to separate from my body. So because of that, they become frightened to the death itself. Why there is a fear in us is because we have attachment to the body. And we feel sadness, so will I gonna separate from my body? Now the Buddha say the freedom is that when escape is when one sees the true nature of the body, just as it is. That is why there is such a meditation to see that true nature. That is impossible to avoid that. Okay? I don't know why there is no such discussions more often and why we don't open to those discussions. In our popular culture, no one would talk about that. In social media, people would not tell about this changing of the body, but only the enjoyment. But what we need is to do this as a meditation to set us free. Now that's why there are many pain and suffering, and we see that ignorance about the life that people are going through. And yeah, the time was changed. Buddha say the Buddhists won't, in the commentary, it said that Buddhists won't be born in the world when there is the lifespan more than 80,000 years old. It said that in sometimes in the samsara, there are times more people live more than 80,000 years. Again, Buddha said there were times in the world, in the samsara, some people live lower than 100 years. Buddha say Buddhas won't show up, they don't born in the time where there is more than 80,000 years or lower than 100 years. Why? For two reasons. Buddha say, when a Buddha be born in the world when there is more than 80,000 years old, when Buddha start a conversation that you will die and there will be old age and there will be separation, nobody want to listen to that because they don't see their loved ones or they themselves are aging. Because 80,000 years, they don't see their hair turn gray, their body wrinkles. They don't see that. So Buddha won't appear in that time when the beings were having so long lifespan. Listen up, you will go old. No one would want to listen that. So Buddha won't reborn there. And again, the time that is lower than 100 years, our time, okay? Lower than 100 years, Buddhas won't reborn. Why? Because in those moments, Buddha say, the beings are infatuated by greed, anger, and delusion. If the Buddha were to teach the teaching, beings won't listen because their defilements are so strong. Greed is so strong. Anger is so strong. So there is difficulty to understand this. Now, when the Buddha was born 2000 years ago, it said that their maximum lifespan for many was 120. And that is said to be the lowest age a Buddha can be born. After that, Buddhas weren't born. If you look back in the commentaries and the suttas, most of the Buddhas were born in this age time, in the samsara. So now there are so many views, so many philosophies, so many doctrines, greed, anger, delusion. It stops and blocks seeing the things as they truly are. We sit down to meditate and then many complications like the views, what if I do that? Why do I want to do this? But I will go and do something else. Like I heard this teaching, I heard that teaching, I should find that one. Is better resonate with me. But there is truth always inside that to be understood. And that's bitter, that's painful. The drug, the medicine is too strong. But this medicine work. Thank you, friends. Thank you so much for joining with me. May you be well and happy. And those who are having comments or feedback, you can stay. And other friends, you can do the meditations and continue doing the meditations. And we will talk more and more in this meditation during our next sessions. I just wanted to see if you feel sad, if you feel fear. I wanted to talk about that more. After that, to go to the meditation. Okay, take care, friends. May you be well and happy and have a good night. Take care.
Thank you, Bhante.
Yeah.
Thank you, Bante. Namo Buddhaya.
Thank you,
Namo
Bante.
Buddhaya.
Namo
Namo
Buddhaya.
Buddhaya.
Namo
Terawan
Buddhaya.
Saranay Bante. Namo
Terawan
Buddhaya.
Sanai.
Thank you,
Amen.
Bante. Namo Buddhaya.
Namo Buddhaya, Bhante. Thank you.
Terawan Saranay Swaminasa.
Namo Buddhaya, Terawan Saranay.
Well, Bante, as a comment,
Yes.
I don't think people are as in your last section. You talked about people being frightened, being sad, being of death. I don't quite agree. I think most people do contemplate, and I speak as an older person whose
Yes.
days are counted.
Yes.
I think especially as we study Buddhism,
Yes.
that in my case, for example, I'm
Yeah.
not the least bit afraid of passing away because I know that's the way of the body. So I think most of us realize
Yes.
or have enough wisdom to
Yes.
realize that this is the way of our body,
Yes.
as you taught us tonight.
Yeah. Yeah. Hmm. I have found sometimes people that they themselves said me that don't like to talk about that. I feel them. I feel their pain. I feel their sadness. That's true. Yes. But for a practitioner, it won't make sadness. I think that can be because of your practice, because of your understanding. But we cannot say that everyone would understand the same way that we do. Do you remember during the COVID? Do you remember how much people went so confused and how much people were like sad and lost mindfulness? Anyway.
I think in many cases, people, they're not probably afraid of death.
Yes,
They're more afraid of suffering before death,
of course,
the
yes.
pain that happens, not to everyone. Some just peacefully die in their sleep. But
Yes.
if you have a serious illness and you have
Yes.
to struggle with that, that's the most difficult part. For me, I don't, in the last year at least, I've got to accept it, and I don't seem to have a problem with dying. Because I know that even when I do my breathing meditation, that
Yeah.
each breath is so precious because there might not be another one. So there's impermanence there as well.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
One thing, don't trust the mind. Don't trust the mind. Trust this knowledge.
Yeah.
There is gratification, there is drawback, and there is an escape. Outcome should be detachment, liberation, more and more love, more and more kindness, more and more gratitude, more and more forgiveness when we choose that correctly.
Mhm.
Because we see that there is nothing to attach. Buddha say, if one understands, enlightened Bhante say, if everyone understand that they will gonna die one day, that there won't be any war, any conflict, any argument, any clash in the world. If they truly know, of course, we everybody know that it is how it is, but we haven't seen it deep in within in order to liberate us enough to easily let go the anger, easily let go the jealousiness, easily let go the um, other defilements, negative things. This can be very helpful meditation. This is truly an amazing meditation if we grasp correctly. Okay.
Is there talks about 9 stages of decay? Do we contemplate on each of those 9? I don't know what they are, and maybe we'll be.
That's what actually we were studying today.
Oh, is that the 9 state? So how?
Yes, we started the first stage,
Yeah.
but we will go to the other 8 one by one. But
Oh,
this
okay.
is in a single meditation. We use it as a single meditation with those all the 9 while we doing meditation. I mean, there are 9, but you can use individually all these meditations as a meditation. Not need to see all the 9, but if you just see one, you can develop mindfulness.
Okay.
Even you can be enlightened just by contemplating that uh, changing of the body in a one session, like the one meditation.
Hmm.
When we go to a funeral, we see the dead body, and that's an opportunity to see how the body was like 1, 2, 3 days went, and it is bloated. It's an opportunity to see the changing of the body. Oh, my body is with the same nature. And we come back from the funeral with mindfulness, not with sadness. Why this happens? We try to run away. Why this happens? And we are carrying a kind of a view that that doesn't happen to me. It will only happen to that person. Why that person met with misery? By saying that, we imagine, oh, that won't happen to me. That's ignorance. That's not seeing truly. But seeing truly is that seeing true nature.
Thank
Isn't
you,
that
Bhante.
interesting? Do you like?
Yeah, that's
Sure.
great.
Okay.
Well, Bhante, I have experienced this. I have seen many bloated bodies and all this, and I was not a Buddhist, so therefore the idea of this is going to happen to me did not occur to me. But at the same time, I accepted it, and I can show you pictures that I took. I was at an eruption of a volcano, bodies being bloated and eaten by dogs and rats,
Yes.
and of course, I have seen dead bodies at the end of the Second World War. I'm old enough for that, and I have seen them, just on the side of the street. And I think it has not sunk in that this
Yes.
is going to happen to me.
Yes. That's
I,
the part where Buddha shows.
as you
Yes.
said before, I was young, and everything
Yes.
was just perfect out there. Yeah,
Yes.
there are some dead bodies, but I think it's a good, especially the last comments that you made, that if he really understood that we all
Yes,
are going
yes.
to pass away. There would
Yes.
be no wars. We would
Yes.
be a lot more gentle
Yeah.
to each other. You're right.
Yes, yes, yes.
Very good lesson. Thank you.
Okay, friends. Thank you so much for joining. Take care, my friends. Namo Buddhaya.
Thank you very much, Bante, for
Thank you,
beautiful.
Bante.
You're
Namo
Thank you.
Buddhaya. Good
Namo
night.
Buddhaya.
Thank you,
Namo
Bante.
Buddhaya,
Yeah,
Bante.
take care.
Namo Buddhaya.
Namo Buddhaya.
Namo Buddhaya, Bante.